Now in today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can optimize your workflow on the Eufy E1. Many of you are starting to get this printer now, and we've been using it now, I wanted to say about for 8 months, and it's been part of our production process. I have tons of jigs that are for standardized products that I have in our shop and that we create and print repeatedly. But you know what? Every now and then I get a lot of one-off projects where someone brings me a product and says, hey, can you print on this product? This happens weekly. And I may get something like this that's a shape that I don't have a jig for. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you a new jig system that allows you to dynamically create jigs that you can use on the fly when you have a new product that you have to engrave. And it's not, let's say it's not going to be the product that you're going to be maintaining repeatedly, but it's going to be something that you need to be able to do because you have a client that's requesting it. Super flexible. And it's also coming from a brand that we all know, from Wham Bam. So let's go ahead and check it out. And I'm going to show you how I created this using that new jig system. Let's get right to it. Now this jig platform does come with a lot of configuration choices that are going to give you a lot of flexibility when it comes to creating dynamic, on-the-go type of jigs so that you can get, again, any kind of production work done really quickly. Take a look at this. So you have a couple things going on here. First of all, you have 24 cam locks. And you notice that they come in a couple sizes, 2.4, 5.0, and you can see them here. And we're going to see them close up as well, by the way. You have 24 2.4 fixtures. You then also have 24 5.0 fixtures. You have back plate, these metal back plates, which you're going to see as well. You have these magnets here as well. And then you have these locks. These are spring clips that you use to connect to your bed. In my setup, I also have the large mat and the small mat. I have some extra stuff too that I'll show you. So I also have these sheets of paper that are here on the side. They're used when you need to do some print tests. But I found that while they're great, you can also use these mats on the opposite side to do print tests as well, and then just pull off the actual print tests when you're done. So let's take a closer look at the mat, and we'll look at some of the options, and then we'll go into some of the configuration choices that you see here. Now, at first glance, when you look at these three pieces, they probably all look the same, right? When you're looking at them, you're saying like, wait a minute, these look identical. You'll notice that there's some differences here. We're going to get really close here. I just want to show you on the side here in an angle. You notice that there's a number there and a number here, a 3 and a 4. Well, that relates to the distance that you have between the pegs. So you see this peg right here and you see this gap right here. You're looking at the distance between these two sides, which this is going to be great, especially if you're looking to have specific space, or even if you want to use this as somewhat of a hold down. You notice in this other one right here, you have another number. You have a 4 and a 6. See that? 4 and a 6. And that relates, again, to the gaps that you're having here. And these, when you look at these, we'll put these side by side, they are not the same. You can see that the space that you have on the sides is very different. You have another one here, and then this one you'll notice has that 5 and 5. We'll put them all three together so you can see all three here. You can see that the space on the sides is a little bit different. So as you're placing this in your materials, as you see here, you'll want to choose the one that makes the right fit for the product that you have. And you may find yourself swapping one out until you find something that makes a lot of sense for positioning, again, the product that you are about to print. Now there are also three different sizes of the cam locks. And you're going to see that the cam locks go from small to what I would call medium and large. And it's not just the size that changes, but it's also the thickness here. So you notice how thick this one is right there? And we'll take this guy right here. See it right there? And then you can see this guy right here, which is also really tiny. Again, this is going to be great for circular objects. Even though I do use these corner ones, these 90s, for my circular objects. This, if you're dealing with, let's say, jewelry that has a loop to it, or just something that you're having a problem, just making sure that you kind of lock it into place. This is going to give you some flexibility because, again, you have that curvature that allows you to rotate this in, again, 360 to just get it to the right position that you want. So you get three of these as well. This is what the little metal plates look like, and they go combined with magnets. And this is going to be great, like if you want to hold down paper or some type of fabric, some type of material that you're going to be printing on. You have your 90s right here. And you can see what the 90s look like, right? There's not a lot there to it. They're all the same pretty much when it comes to kind of like the spacing. And again, very, very flexible silicone. By the way, these, if you get overspray, you don't have to worry about it either. And then you have these clips, right? And these clips allow this to mount to the actual bed so you can see what the clips look like, right? They're metal. Let me grab this bed here. So this is a bed, an extra bed that I had printed out for my Eufy. And you guys know we've been using the Eufy E1 now for 8 months, probably a little bit longer than that. And when I say using it, we're not using it, storing it, taking it out when we're testing. We actually have it. Nolan and I have this as part of our production lineup. So we've been using it minimally once a week to multiple times a week for 8 months. And we've learned a lot, and it's really changed the way our business operates because now we have also color printing capabilities, and it's expanded the number of products that we have when we have a sale, right? When it comes to just dealing with our clients. And so these are probably going to look a little worn because we've been using them so much, so just be warned about that. But what I like about this is, again, this is the silicone mat. It is basically connected here, and I'm going to show you how easy this is, right? So all you're doing here is taking this clip, you're putting it in the bottom, and then it snaps into place just like this, right? And then that holds it in place, and you're doing the same thing on this side. Now, if you do have the sticky mat underneath this, that's fine. This one doesn't have a sticky mat because, again, this is like a 3D printed version. So I use this because it's a thinner profile. You can see how thin that is. And I'm able to put this in place and able to print. Now, you'll notice that I do have the magnets here, right? And I have also, I'm just to show you what the magnets look like. These are the magnets that the kit comes with. And it really allows you to hold things down. And I haven't really had a lot of use for these because I don't really use thin objects that much, but I do like the fact that they're available. And once again, you can do something like this if that's something that you choose to do. And they're pretty magnetic when it comes to the actual force. Now, each one of these little pieces go in really easily. So take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and put this right here, and you just align it with the hole, and it goes into place. Now, there's a couple things that you can do. You can use all these holes here to create dynamic jigs, or you could use these pieces to hold 3D printed jigs that you may have created. Now, we typically focus on 3D printed jigs a lot, especially when we have items that are part of our production base. I've been using this platform, as I mentioned in the intro, when I get a new product, when I have a product that I need to test, and I'm not doing a constant production run of the same solution over and over again. So for example, where I have this right here, if I just got these tiles and these tiles were a unique shape and size, it's faster for me to create a dynamic jig using this mat than it would be for me to design and 3D print it, especially if I don't know if it's going to be part of my production offering. If I'm going to have something that is part of my production offering, I'm going to create a fixture. I'm going to create a fixture that I can use, and I'm going to create a fixture that I know that I'm going to be able to just load every single time. One of the challenges with this, but it's also an opportunity, is that one of the things that I found myself doing is anytime I do a dynamic jig like this, what I do is I take a picture because I want to know where I place things. I want to know how many holes from the bottom, right? Because you can count these going all the way up, how many holes I've counted and where I placed this. This allows me, the next time I open up the Eufy E1 file, to recreate this jig, if not exactly in the same position, close to that position so I don't have to move objects around. That to me is the power of having fixed jigs that is part of your production lineup. And that I don't have with this, right? But it gives me that flexibility to dynamically create jigs really quick. So what I do is once I have this done, I take a picture of it so that I can see, how many holes up and how many holes over I should start my jig. The other thing, just as a tip, and this is just part of how the technology works. And by the way, this isn't a Eufy issue. This applies to everything. If you have a laser, for example, and your laser starts shooting over here in the corner and your laser's here in the center, that angle is going to cause kind of the laser as it cuts to cut in an angle because it has to go all the way over here. When you're using a camera and the camera's taking a photo from the top down, the center is going to be the clearest area, and then as you go over to the sides, you get kind of like a fisheye effect. So what you'll notice in a lot of the stuff that we do, and even in the jigs that we make, we tend to focus on the center. And you'll notice as I'm putting this, I have it in the center, even though I have the distance. Now, if I wanted to be able to have more of these coasters, for example, I can move this down and I could possibly fit another row. So I could probably do 6 coasters in here, easy. I would move it to the bottom, but I would still keep it in the center because it's going to give me the most accurate
view when I'm using my camera. That's just something that I've learned from experience of using the system. Now, again, the ability to be able to just plop these in just like this makes a big difference for me. And, just the ability to be able to take another piece here. And, one of the things that we get a lot of in our business is I get companies, realtors, corporate companies that have a product, that they have a brand, they've already purchased it, and I probably going to do a one-time job. I'm not going to be offering it as part of my lineup. That's where this comes in really nice. So for example, just recently we had several batteries that a agent purchased and they wanted their name on it. And those batteries, I'm not going to carry them in my lineup. Frankly, those batteries, they got them wholesale, they got them really cheap, and it's because the technology in batteries is changing. So even if I wanted to offer batteries, I probably wouldn't offer those. So what we were able to do is just design the jigs by using, again, these little placeholders to the size of the item, place the item on this jig system, print them out, and then I was done. And that accelerated my production time greatly. Traditionally, what I would end up doing is creating a jig for it and then taking the time to do that. And it would be just a one-time jig that I throw away. This saves my production time greatly. So the jig also does have some marking points. You'll notice here on the sides, which I use somewhat as quadrants to help me when I look at my positions. And that's something that you should be aware of, that you could potentially use just to know where things are as you're doing your design, right? Those are just some power tips that I want to share with you. Now, the other thing we'll do is, and I'll remove this one so I can show you what's going on in the back. This is my standard, again, this is the one that was provided with the E1. And the cool thing about this is that this does have this removable sheet that you can remove. It does have the ability to have some stickiness in it, but over time the stickiness goes away, right? So what I have ended up doing before I had this system was putting, again, some silicone right on top of it, and I would be working on that because it's just so much more easier to work. But this has some tackiness to it. I just wanted to show you, if I were to take this one off, I can actually put it, and this is again, the official bed. I can actually put it on top of this bed, and then it's going to stick because it has some tackiness. But I would still go ahead and use these guys right here to kind of lock this in place, right? Just to lock it in just like this. The only difference between these two beds is, again, one is a low profile and one is a standard profile. Just gives me more space when I am going to use the UV printer. Other thing to highlight is that there is some material thickness here. So you see how thick this is? This is going to take away from your height. So Eufy does have a limited height of how tall an object could be to print on. Because of the thickness that you see here, you're going to lose some of that space. That's why I'm using this, this one right here, this thin one that I printed, because I didn't want to sacrifice the height that I need. So what I typically do is I use my thin profile one with this guy here so that I don't lose any of my height. I haven't done that for the big bed. I don't have a printer that can print that big, but I'd like to be able to do that as well because I do lose some of that height. So just be aware of that when you get this. There's a lot of pros to it, but you're going to lose that material thickness is going to be lost in height with your printing for, again, products that are a little bit taller.
Now, the cool thing about the actual color of the jig is that because it's orange, it stands out. It stands out a lot. And you can see that here. So here we have the tiles. And frankly, one of the things we could do is I'm sure that I could fit 3 tiles going across, 3 more here. And I probably could get 9 tiles on this easy. So you can see, the actual capability here. But the reality is that when we sell these in sets of 4. So doing 4 at a time is more than fine. And and when you zoom in here, you'll notice that there is, you can see the actual numbers here, right? So again, taking a picture, taking a snapshot, something that's going to help you remember how you have things positioned. One of the things that I also do a lot is I'll go ahead and group my images. So if I'll do this group here, for example, when I load this again, even if my images or my slates aren't exactly in the same place, I could just move them, right? And as soon as I align one of them, more or less where I think it should go, the others are going to be in place as well. So that's, that's obviously an option for you. And I'll go ahead and put these more or less where I think they're going to be.
That kind of looks good. I'll go ahead and ungroup them again. You'll notice that there's a little vertical line that comes up here that shows me when something is centered. This one's a little bit too far over, so I'm going to just bring it over. I like where that is right there. And the same thing with this guy. We'll zoom in a little bit and probably bring this one down a little bit more. Yeah, so these are the same. Just looking at the distance right here, probably bring it up a little bit. Right there, that looks good. Right there. All right, so we'll go ahead and run this, but this gives you kind of like a sense of how the actual jig works. I find it odd, just the way the camera system works on the Eufy. Notice how I'm only seeing one side of the clips. So notice how this side is visible, but this side is not. So this goes back to that kind of like fisheye effect, or at least the way the camera works in the system, and how, the safest thing you can do is keep things in the center. That's just my opinion.
All right, so here you see the actual larger plate on the Eufy, and you can see how well this print turned out. You saw on the video that you're not able to see the entire jig area, so you notice that this entire area is not really exposed. So all you see is from this point all the way up to this point, but that doesn't cause a problem at all. Now you notice the way the Eufy works is that it basically looks at the highest point, so these don't really cause a problem, nor does this cause a problem when it comes to printing. So you'll notice how nice this turned out right here. That was the image that we were looking at, and these came out spectacular, right? So again, great solution for those of you who are looking to have dynamic jigs, jigs that you can set up for those that have maybe one-off work, or even if you just want to use this as a standard jig, you can do that as well. So here, as I was saying, you could get 3 here set up. So this is going to be really easy. I'll just pop these out just so we can see how much space you can get. So here's going to be your space. You need your bottom. You're going to be able to have 1, 2, 3. I could probably put another one here. So now you have 3, 6, 9, and then that's pretty much as far as you can go. You're not going to be able to go in the back. So you'll be able to get 9 coasters on it with this plate. And once again, all you're getting is a dynamic feature here. And then if there's any overspray, nothing is going to really stick to this, versus using a standard jig where, again, that requires design, that requires time. And I really like this for those projects that I get where I don't really have a need to create a jig because it's a one-off solution.
So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.